शिवाय. ओम नमो भगवते देवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेव. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. प्रणतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तन हृदयन्तस्थो भद्राणि विनोदि श्रुतियतां नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 14th chapter, verse number 18 and 19. Verse number 18. Yastarashtre pure chaiva bhagwan yajna purushah ijyate svena dharmena janer varna ashrama anvite. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: the king is supposed to be pious and whose state and city is the general populace strictly observe the system of 8 social order of Varna and Ashrama, and where all citizens engage in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead by their particular occupations. Purport. The state's duty and the citizen's duty are very nicely explained in this verse. The activities of the government head or the king, as well as the activities of citizen, should be so directed that ultimately everyone engage in the devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The king or the government head is supposed to be the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is therefore supposed to see that things go on nicely and the citizens are situated in the scientific social order comprised of 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. In the Vishnu Puran, it is stated that unless people are educated or situated in scientific social order comprised 4 varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, and 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanprastha and Sannyas, society can never be considered a real human society, nor can it make any advancement towards the ultimate goal of human life. It is the duty of government to see that the things go on in terms of Varna and Ashrama, as stated herein. Bhagwan Yajna Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, is the Yajna Purusha. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapsam. Krishna is the ultimate purpose of all sacrifice. He is also the enjoyer of all sacrifice. Therefore, he is known as a Yajna Purush. The word Yajna Purush indicate Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna or any personality of Godhead in the category of Vishnu Tattva. In perfect human society, the people are situated in the order of Varna and Ashrama and are engaged in the worshipping the Lord Vishnu by their respective activities. Every citizen engaged in an occupation renders service by the resultant action of his activity. That is the perfection of life. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.46, Yatah pravartirbhutana yena sarvam idam tatam sarvakarmana tam abhyacharya siddhim vindati manava. By worship of the Lord, who is source of all being and who is the all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain the perfection. Thus, Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Shudra, and Vaishyas must execute their prescribed duties as these duties are stated in the Shastras. In this way, everyone can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. The king or government head has to see that citizens are thus engaged. In other words, the state and the government must not deviate from its duty by declaring that the state is a secular one, which has no interest in whether or not the people advancement in Varnashram Dharma. Today, people engage in government service and people who rule over the citizen have no respect for the Varna Ashram Dharma. They completely feel that the state is secular. In such government, no one can be happy. The people must follow the Varnashram Dharma, and the king must see that they are following it nicely. Verse number 90. तस्य राज्ञो महाभाग भगवान् भूतभावनः परितुष्यति विश्वात्मा तिष्ठतो निज शासने. Translation. O noble one, if the king sees that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, and the super soul within everyone is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. Purport. In effect, that the government's duty is to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied by the activities of the people as well as by the activities of the government. There is no possibility of happiness if the government or citizen have no idea of Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, or if they have no knowledge of the Bhuta Bhavana, who is the Vishwatma, the super soul, the soul of everyone's soul. The conclusion is that without engaging in the devotional service, neither the citizen nor the government can be happy in any way. At present moment, neither the king nor the every governing body is interested in seeing that the people are engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are more interested in advancing the machinery of the sense gratification. Consequently, they are becoming more and more implicated in the complex machinery of the stringent law of nature. People should be freed from the entanglement of the three modes of material nature, and the only process by which this can be possible is surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is advised in the Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, neither the government nor the people in general have any idea about this. Of this, they are simply interested in sense gratification and in being happy in this life. The word Nij Shasane in his own governmental duty, indicates that both government and the citizen are responsible for the execution of the Varnashram Dharma. Once the populace is situated in the Varnashram Dharma, there is every possibility of real life and the prosperity both in this world and the next. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Vasudhi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to share the notes on these two verses for my own purification. Please forgive me if I added my own interpretation while making these notes. So, so the duty of the king and the duty of the citizen is very nicely explained by the great sages here to King Vena. So, Varna Ashram Dharma they're talking about is a system of social organization, and it is meant for the civilized human being. So, by following the Varnashram system, one can elevate himself into the higher state of consciousness. So, following this Varnashram system is the best way to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even among those who are like Pakka Karmakandis, uh, it is very important. But now this civilization, of course, has collapsed. Our Indian civilization was very much based on the division of this labor among the different citizens. And then it was the king's duty to see that that particular Varnashram Dharma or system does not break. Everyone stays within the division of these Varnas or Ashramas, either the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. It was the duty of the Kshatriya king. So if the population was simply living according to the Varnashram Dharma, then even that particular king who was ruling that time would accumulate lots of pious karmas because population is obedient to the system, and that very system was set up by the supreme personality of Godhead. So even if somebody is not a devotee of the Lord, but if he follows this system set up by the Lord, even though he doesn't recognize what he's following, but he is a part of such society, and he will accumulate lots of punya karmas. And accumulating these punya karmas, then that person will go to the heavenly planet to enjoy the result of those punya karmas. So as we know, like heavenly planet, they are full of enjoyment because that is a place where you can encash your pious deeds that you have performed in the human body. So that particular thing of the population thinking has no connection with devotional service. I mean, it has nothing to do with devotion service. If one is just blindly following the varnashram system and enjoying the fruit of his pious deeds in heavenly planet, this is not devotional service. Devotional service is when you are recognized that okay, I am the part of this varnashram system that is designed by the Lord, and I have to live my life strictly obedience to this whatever will of the Lord who designed this system. So that is a devotional service where everyone is doing everything for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is how the great Indian civilization was there. But unfortunately, at that time when this Varnashram was being followed properly, everyone, everybody was not a devotee. Large part of the people who was following the Varnashram because they want to enjoy in case uh, they are doing something good and following this Varnashram, then they had a conception that okay, they will enjoy the fruit in the heaven. And if they were not following the Varnashram Dharma, definitely they will go down in this material life into another form, in another lower system created by Krishna. So the Krishna's purpose of Varnashrama Dharma, but many karma kandis they misuse it. There is a philosophy we call it karma vimamsa. It's always there. Uh, Everything is there. Then where is the need of Vishnu? This is the karma vimamsa philosophy. The thinking is that if I do my karma, I go to the heavenly planet, so I have to strictly follow the laws of karma if I want to elevate myself to the greater enjoyment. Greater enjoyment means the heavenly enjoyment. So there is no concept of pleasing Vishnu by following the laws of karma as per the karma vimamsa. uh, the use of this material laws, if someone is using, like scientists are using, there are many scientists, they are, or mostly the scientists are atheists, they are using the laws of karmas. It is not necessary to be a devotee to use these laws of karma. They don't think about Krishna, but they utilize the laws of, for example, electromagnetism. They are creating this electricity and they are using in various purpose. So they are using the laws of karma and the laws of nature, sorry, created by Krishna, but they don't believe in Krishna. So similarly, people knows that if I do some pious activity, then I will enjoy my life. Uh, but they will not please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're thinking like if I do this, then material nature has to give me the result. They're bound to give me the result. So I have to just do something good and I will enjoy. So we have to understand uh, that we are for the system where Krishna is the center of the activities of a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. and they execute these duties being situated in some ashram. So there is also exists like how to live, the lifestyle that is given. How to what should be the lifestyle of a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. All these has been given in this four division. So once this division is there, then we need some the society needs some intelligence, needs some administration or some economic activity, or need the people who can help with their hands and legs like Shudras. So we have all this division of labor as per the system, and they should execute their respective duties staying under a particular lifestyle or ashrama. This is all we call together Varna ashrama. So the entire human society, why we say civilized system is for civilized human being, because they are disciplined. They saw within an ashram, they perform their respective duties as per their varnas. So in this way, everybody perform their part, and the human society will be harmonious. It used to be harmonious. Nowadays, it is not, because there is no varnashrama system. So all these varnashrama principles are all given in shastras. Even we can see in Mahabharata, when Bhishma he was lying on his bed of arrows. So mostly his instruction to Yudhishthira Maharaj was based on Varnashram Dharma. So we know all now that normal human being, even he is an Indian, he doesn't know at all about Varnashram Dharma. So our Vedic civilization has been completely destroyed now. Nobody is concerned about the final goal or ultimate goal of whether they are Indian or American or European. They have no connection with dharmas. Though we know like the originally the Sanatan Dharma originated from India, but now we can see like many Indian, or like you can say most of the Indian, they are victim of another civilization or Western civilization. Totally, body centered, means just enjoy the life in this body, and they completely know, they have no idea about next life they might have. Even Indian, they don't have, mostly they don't have any idea about their next life. This is obvious factor, but they don't know. So it is completely degraded. But if we go we see in our past, what was the condition of India even like 200 years back when Britishers ruled. So I was hearing, they quoted in 1835, Lord Macaulay, he was some British minister and in charge of education ministry in India. He was addressing in the British Parliament that time, and this is his own wording. What he says: I have traveled across the length and breadth of India, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar or who is a thief. Such a wealth I have seen in this country, such a high moral values, people of such caliber, that I don't think we would ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is their spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose, Macaulay is saying, I propose that we should replace this old ancient education system, their culture, for if Indian thinks that all the foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their entire native culture. They will lose their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. That is something Macaulay says in 1835. So that means like even like approximately 200 years before also we were strictly following the Varnashram Dharma. So that was reported by him to British Parliament, and then they start dismantling the Gurukul system, the entire country, the Gurukul system where the proper Vedic education was happening. They replace with the modern school system, and they force to learn English and all those things. And now we can see the very English Prabhupada is using. Now Prabhupada books are in English language, and now we are reading Srila Prabhupada book in that very English language, which uh, the Britishers brought in India to destroy our culture. The very same English language, Srila Prabhupada is translating this wonderful literature, the Vedic literature, where we are we are talking about uh, the Vedic Dharma, how to bring it back. So that is the magic of Srila Prabhupada. The very instruction given to Srila Prabhupada by his own spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that okay, go and preach in English, though it is Malaysia language, but you have to use it because it will prevail everywhere and spread everywhere, even in India. So that was uh, the prediction. Was the great astrologer, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he knew that it is going to happen. That's why he suggested Prabhupada to preach in English. So we are very fortunate to have all this literature and very good devotional association to proper